Are the Cowboys better off sticking with Dak or trading for Russ?
I want to say they're better off sticking with Dak. I think that that's the most feasible approach to what's taking place with the Dallas Cowboys. There are a lot of valuable pieces of Dak Prescott that you can draw from that leads you to the conclusion that you stay with Dak Prescott. And again, this continues to be a conversation about Dak and his value and his worth. His value and his worth is legit in Dallas. But with that being said, can they get this contract done? The biggest issue here is not Dak's ability. It's his sign ability. And that's what's making all of these discussions as prominent as they are. Of course, he is the better option for Dallas. They're familiar with Dak. Dak is a leader. Dak is endeared himself to his team and to that community. Like I said, there is a lot of value that Dak carries. And I think that if you bring in Russell Wilson, I really don't see the bringing in of Russell Wilson taking this Dallas team and turning the corner. So you're taking a risk on that. So I think you got to really take a long, hard look at the signability issue. And really what it comes down to is the number that you have in your head and the number that Dak has in his head, is it worth you coming closer to his number to make this a reality? Because in the end, that's what's going to make the Dallas Cowboys team whole, is getting Dak Prescott signed, not trading him and getting Russell Wilson.
I agree. This is a no-brainer for me. Brandon Marshall is 100% accurate here. You stick with Dak Prescott. So let me put it to you guys like this. I've been married now for 15 years.
Nice.
I have a very beautiful wife. Wonderful. We have a great relationship. She's been with me through my ups, my downs, my good, my bad, my ugly. And yet she's still here. Like, she knows my ins and outs. I know her ins and outs. Even though we don't agree every single day, even though we can't come to the same consensus every single day, we still understand the long-term goal. We understand who we are for one another. That's the Dallas Cowboys right now. They just haven't been able to, like you said, LaVar, come to terms when it comes to signing that long-term deal. But they know what they have in one another. The Dallas Cowboys know who Dak Prescott is. If you try to go outside of your building and acquire a talent, yes, they look great. Their resumes are stacked, but do they fit? Do they fit not just from a football perspective and production on the field, but a leadership perspective? Can they lead? Can they be what you need and what you're seeing out of Dak Prescott, even in his injury state? Can you get that out of someone else? The answer possibly is yes. Hopefully is yes. But you're not sure. But you are certain with Dak Prescott. He's done everything. Every single day we get up here and we talk about Dak Prescott and we talk about everything that he's provided. And there's just not another quarterback out there that offers you much more to where you can still build your team and you just get a landslide of an upgrade at that quarterback position. I don't see it. Even when you talk about Russell Wilson, and it's inevitable. You're going to deal with contract situation, whether it's now with Dak Prescott, whether it's next year with Dak Prescott, or whether it's a few years down the road, if you desire to go and trade for a guy like Russell Wilson. Or even if you say, let's say you go and get Deshaun Watson, you still have to pay these guys. You're still going to have to eventually renegotiate a deal with the Russell Wilson. You're going to have to face this at some point. So why not do it with someone you know who is in love with you, who you've been in love with, or you're telling the world that you're in love with? Get it done.
Man, do I respect you guys, but man, do I not understand what I just heard for the last 5-6 minutes. No, if you have the opportunity to go get Russell Wilson for Dak Prescott, you go and do that. I don't think the option is even available. But that said, you guys are acting like Russell Wilson is some mystery guest, or, we don't know whether he can lead a team or not. What? He's demonstrated that. And we were talking about the Russell Wilson when they went to Super Bowls, and we had the Legion of Boom, and we had Marshawn Lynch, and we had this young Russell Wilson, who you could make a case wasn't really leading that team. That was Richard Sherman, the guys on the defense that were the heart and soul of that team. You might have a case, but we have seen Russell Wilson over the last couple of years be the be-all and end-all of the Seahawks. So this isn't some question as to whether he can lead a team. Yes. Can he make the difference with the Dallas Cowboys because they have other issues? I could go with you on that. But the fact of the matter is, Russell Wilson is signed for 3 years at $35 million. If you're going to keep Dak Prescott, the franchise tag alone for 1 year is more than that. Russell Wilson is a bargain at this point and a known quantity. And I dare say, as a quarterback in the NFL, they might know more about Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys might know more about Dak when it comes to who he is in the building. But on the field, we know more about what Russell Wilson is capable of than we do Dak Prescott right now. So, look, I don't even think it's a question. And they have the compensatory picks. They have additional Dallas picks. Dallas does. Like, they can afford to go get Russell Wilson if it's possible. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Let me lean into
no, you don't
this.
pass that opportunity up.
Let me lean into this, Rick. You say you don't pass up on Russell Wilson, but here's what I'm thinking. You look at Russell Wilson in the situation he's in right now in Seattle. Why are we even having the conversation about Russell Wilson being available? Think about that. It's because of how he feels about the front office and the
After
the
how
coach.
many years?
Correct. Hold on. It's the front office and the coach, right? Well, if I recall correctly, the Dallas Cowboys have the most prominent, most vocal owner in all of the National Football League. There has to be something to be said when you look at what this could end up being and what this can lead to. Why would Jerry Jones risk bringing in a personality and a brand as big as Russell Wilson, where I'm sitting here and I'm watching him currently where he's at, and he's not taking shots at his team anymore. He's taking shots at the coach. He's taking shots at the staff. He's taking shots at ownership for the decisions.
You don't think that's justified?
Whether it's justified or not, when you're in the position that Jerry Jones is in, you have to take into consideration what type of confusion that could create. I am the guy. I am the one in charge here. That's how Jerry Jones feels. You remember when the big tuna, right? Bill Parcells is there, and he said, look, you got to let me shop for some of the groceries. That was in Dallas. And that was a direct shot at Jerry Jones. So when I think about what Russell Wilson now, maybe the reasoning that you gave 2 days ago would have worked. Few days ago, before this new information has surfaced on what Russell Wilson has said about the coaching staff and how that directly impacts what they're saying and criticizing or just scrutiny of the organization, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't fit well to bring in a guy with that type of personality that left the way that he did, because ultimately I'm going to have it in the back of my head at any given point in time. This dude is going to want this player. He's going to want that player. He's looking at the Tom Brady effect. Well, this is different. You're not a free agent. You don't need a quarterback in Dallas. So this isn't the Tampa Bay situation. You actually think you have a ready-to-win team in Dallas, and you have a ready-to-win quarterback that's in recovery. I don't think you disrupt that for the flash, the glitter of what it looks like in bringing Russell Wilson there, because you might ultimately walk up on a situation that you directly, Jerry Jones, the Jones family, they might have to directly navigate through, and it might not even be football related. There's no reason to put yourself in that situation, Greg.
Well, look, Dallas has taken on other volatile personalities.
Not
and
at
they've
the quarterback
done
position.
Okay with them, right?
Not at the quarterback's position.
But I don't even put Russell in that category. Like, I'm gonna look at his track record over the entire career, not what's come out the last couple of days. He's been a good soldier. He's never been a guy who has created conflict or controversy. If he's speaking up now, it's because he has, in my mind, legitimate reason to speak up. And it doesn't mean he takes that bag of problems with him wherever he goes, that he's going to be a malcontent. The malcontent in Russell Wilson, regardless of what he said or how he feels about the Seahawks right now, those two ideas just don't fit in the same sentence or paragraph with me.
But yet we're here.
I can't be concerned that I'm taking on a problem
You have to be.
because of the way Russell Wilson feels about the Seahawks.
You have to be. You have to be. And that doesn't qualify anything, Greg. Like, it doesn't, just because you have been a good soldier all the way through to this point, doesn't qualify you popping off and talking about the organization and talking about the coaching staff now, especially to get out. I think that's a bad look. Why would I take that chance?
Well, I don't mind Russell Wilson and what he said and how he feels. Tell me. I need to know if I'm management, if I'm the head coach. I need to know. But, Rick, I want to touch on, it's not that I don't believe that Russell Wilson is a leader, that I don't believe that he can do the things that Dak Prescott can do for that team. But you haven't pieced those pieces together. They haven't married together. They haven't walked in harmony and unison. You bring in a new head coach in Mike McCarthy, and he's coming down to Dallas believing that Dak Prescott is going to be my quarterback of the future. I'm coming. Yes, you have Russell Wilson as an option, but it's not just a flip 'em trade. We make it seem like it's like, oh, yeah, Seattle wants Dak just for Russell. That's not it. That's not what they're going to take. That's not what they're going to ask for when you're talking about Russell Wilson. So the Dallas Cowboys are understanding that. They're mindful of that. They're not foolish. They're not willing to give up just Dak Prescott and whatever else that's going to be asked to give up to acquire a guy like Russell Wilson. That's why you hear reports of it being laughable to the Dallas Cowboys, because it's not just a head up, trade him. It's not that easy. And so when I go back to Mike McCarthy, he thinks I got Dak Prescott for years to come. You look at
and you think he's going to have a problem coaching Russell Wilson?
You don't know.
No, I'm not saying
I don't know that he will.
I'm not saying he's going to have a problem.
You don't know.
But he wants time. You can't just keep revolving the door of head coach. Look at Cam Newton. When he was in Carolina, he had a new coordinator almost every single year. And his career was a roller coaster. Every single year, we didn't know what we were going to get. And the expectation never fell off. The expectation was still, you better produce. You should be one of the most elite guys in this league at this position. That is Dak Prescott. That's Mike McCarthy. Give them year two. When Mike McCarthy got to Green Bay and he had Brett for the first year, it wasn't pretty. But year two, it was a completely different marriage. It was a completely different relationship, and it blossomed. And it rendered success. It rendered wins. That's what you do. You don't start all over every single year. That's what the Dallas Cowboys would be doing if they entertain another quarterback.
Schottenheimer took the fall for what took place in Seattle this year, by the way, Rick. So coaches are paying attention to what's taking place, and now it seems like the bullseye's on Pete Carroll. So let's see how that plays out. But, hey, Rick, you want them in Dallas, so let's talk about it, all right? Hey.